After saying goodbye, we had an interesting first part of the crossing to the Caribbean.
Miles to go. Very close to the equator in the meantime. Counting down from 13 now.
After an exciting first half of the crossing to the Caribbean, we didn't know yet that the second half would be at least as exciting.
Dat is die. Yeah. Well, look at that. One peak of 36 knots. Okay.
We found a place where the water doesn't disappear. And now we put a pump in that place outside so that it doesn't go all the way into our hull. We saw all the satellites that's above 2 degrees north. This activity would mostly stop. So we're trying to go there as soon as we can. At the moment there's hardly any wind.
We've put the spare autopilot on, the Raymarine. It's only on heading mode, but it's super simple from here anyway. We have one reef in the main and only the Solent. We could put on the Code Zero. It's just about the border where we use the Code Zero in terms of apparent wind. And we could shake the reef, of course, from the main. If we're not putting on the Code Zero and we do shake the reef of the main, the balance between the front and the back will be even worse than it already was, and the autopilot will have difficulty scoping. 580 miles to go, so we might as well keep the sails like this, and then we'll arrive Saturday morning instead of somewhere on Friday night in the dark. There's no more rains, no more squalls, no lightning in the next 3 days. So it's really going to be, well, I don't know what to say. Smooth. It's Thursday today. This is our 5th day on the ocean, I guess. So the ones who paid attention when we arrived in South Africa, they might have seen it. And our rudder, our spare rudder, the one that we damaged a little bit in Fiji, hitting the reef, went on Saga 55 hull number 1, as they had lost their rudder in the middle of the ocean. At first it wasn't very clear what happened there. Utomer and their design team, they analyzed the broken shaft and finally found out that there has been a miscommunication between the supplier and Utomer about the dimensions of the rudder. So the blade is just a little bit too big in comparison to the dimensions of the shaft. After about 30,000 miles there's a risk of metal fatigue, and this shaft, well, I think it's about 10 centimeters in diameter. It just breaks. Nothing happens. It breaks just below the lowest bearing. But it is a good thing that we have two rudders on a catamaran, and you don't want to end up in a situation where you lose two. In the meantime, it happened to the other rudder of Saga as well, and they've got new rudders, a little bit smaller. Loic seems pretty happy with the way they handle the boat, so it's definitely an improvement, and we are really happy that Automer is anticipating on replacing the rudders on all existing boats that have the old version of the rudder as well. We kind of knew already since South Africa that we would be getting new rudders. In Cape Town, Saga's new rudders were installed and we got our spare rudder back. The worst thing so far is that we had to get Marijke out of bed. It doesn't really help in situations like this. Her expertise is important. Well, basically she decides what we're going to do. And we managed to reach Loic and Mathieu as well to brainstorm about solutions so far. And Loic has experience sailing with one rudder for quite a lot of miles, to be honest. 2 reefs in the main now. We expect to arrive Saturday morning in the light. Besides putting the second reef in the main, we also lowered both dagger boards a little bit more. A bigger part of the roll is now carried by the dagger boards, and not everything is coming on the rudder. We also tried to roll out Code Zero to increase the forces on the front of the boat, but then the wind increased to 20 knots with a wind from a beam that was just too much for the Code Zero. We had to furl it in again. So we're basically looking at the rudder indicator to know whether the boat's in balance. The rudder is pointing to port more than to starboard still, so we are considering of putting a third reef in the main. Just as we were planning to do that, well, the wind changed again and it was no longer necessary. Because our rudder was replaced in Fiji, the port rudder only has about 20,000 miles in the water, and the spare rudder hasn't been used since Fiji, of course, so should have about 20,000 miles as well. The only exciting stuff left is that it takes time, of course, to produce the new rudders, and we shouldn't underestimate the logistical side of it. Well, from France to Martinique shouldn't be a problem, but let's wait and see. Most of the boats are not even close to the mileage where the metal fatigue can actually be a problem. If you're not doing big ocean crossings, then well, the risk is very, very, very limited. I'm making an apple cake.
It's a very rare event. Marcus in the kitchen baking a cake.
Who made dinner yesterday? Well, not everybody was feeling really well afterwards.
No, today we are going to eat hamburgers.
Oh yeah. So you're raising the bar a lot. Are you going to make hamburgers? Thursday evening. Only 70 miles to go, so we should arrive tomorrow morning. We'll bear away a bit if it's bringing too much wind. shoreline. This does give the impression that we have current against us all the time. If you look at the current now. There's a cruise ship next to us. 200 meters long. We won't be alone at Ile de Salut. It's the cruise ship that passed us has anchored there now as well, or is anchoring. We'll have a look where we're going to replace the starboard rudder, either in the bay or in Kourou. Depends a little bit on the visibility on one side and current on the other side.
Luckily we found an area where there was hardly any current in front of the islands, because the big advantage there is that at least there's a little bit more visibility than on the river, but still the visibility was very poor.
I saw it. Hey, it's a big one, eh?
What kind of fish? Tuna?
Chaps has diving equipment on board, and the diver in Kourou was only available from Monday. So we'll probably give it a try ourselves before. Okay, so we loosened the 4 bolts of the quadrants. That's the other part of it. They were really tight. And then we loosened the part that connects the autopilot on that side to the rod that brings it to the other side. There are 3 imbus thingies that hold the rod, and now we can put a hammer on top and get it down. This is just protection. Unfortunately, I've been here before. It's not a very large space. The host is getting into the water, and Arnaud is going to tap it on the head so it comes down. The most difficult part is going to be to get the new rudder in there, in the top bearing.
Well broken.
Yeah. So luckily we have a spare rudder because of the accident in Fiji.
I saw Loïc put anti-fouling on this.
Yeah, it's already all gone.
Starboard rudder is going to take a dive. It has its own net belt. Did you have enough sleep, Marie-Laure? Did you have enough sleep? You arrived at 9, or? Yesterday. Joost and Arnaud are going in the water. And
we go a tour in the water?
Yeah, I think it's...
yes.
Okay, so
Well, to help you keep it upright, because that's going to be the most difficult. I will put it down, and he will tie it to the top of the rudder. We remembered just in time that it made sense to put a line through and through, and now it's tied to the cleat on the top, so it can't go down anymore. It wouldn't probably, as it is floating. And then the only thing we have to do is reconnect everything here again, and then it should be okay.
The last part is Mark's part. He has to install all the screws again.
It was teamwork, eh?
Teamwork
it
again.
doesn't sit a lot.
Shuttles of the cruise ship going off and on, so we'll wait to go on the island until tomorrow morning. And the commercial cats, they arrive around 10. We have plenty of time to have a good look at the island before everybody comes, even on a Sunday. We couldn't have done the rudder replacement without the help of chaps. They are doing a boat job with their main now themselves. They promised to call us when they need help. So, after our successful rudder adventure from this morning, thanks very much for your help, guys.
You did on the sailing boat.
To get out of this some kind of moment.
Jeps has a problem with its water maker, so we are crossing 7 miles to the mainland, to Kourou in French Guiana.
And something died, so I waited for nothing. Nothing arrived.
It's just like sailing in Holland on the IJsselmeer, with the color of the water and the buoys.
When later on we visit the river together with Chaps, we are very happy that we were able to change the rudder on the island, because it wouldn't have been a lot better there.
Final end. My dear sweet nothing, let's start anew. From here on in, it's just me and you.
Recipe from Mauritius.
I waited for something, and something died. So I waited for nothing.
Rudder arrived as well last night, just at the start of the Formula 1. And in the background, I don't know whether you can see it from here, but there's the space station.
I guess it's begun. It's a loser's table, but we've already won. It's a funny battle, it's a constant game. I guess I was busy when nothing came. I guess I was busy. Guess I was busy. I was busy.
I'm not exactly sure what this guy is doing with his hands, but this is a Soria thingy. I think it's from the breakdance time or something like that, but it's completely unclear what he means. Well, we'll just go ahead a little bit. Au revoir! À tout à l'heure!
And after visiting the island with the old prison, which was very interesting, we continued sailing to the Caribbean. If we would wait any longer, we would end up in very little wind.
Everything seems okay. It's not touching the back there. It's not touching the engine here. Autopilot was working, manual was working.
In a momentary place, it was written on the wall, but it never really came to us at all. It's an elementary thing, the answer to the call that will lead us to the great unending hall. With the wheel of motion that is always turning, landing where it may. As the world moves forward to a new beginning, still I feel this way. Take me where the river meets the and everything you do seems wrong, and the good don't ever last for very long. Call it miracle or fate, either one is long since gone, but there's just enough to keep you hanging on. With you on the commotion, and your senses telling there is so much more. And with every emotion, your timeline screaming, running through the door. Take me where the river meets the sea, to the city made of glass, where our emptiness is gone at last. Take me to a world beyond the space and time, under the crystal water sky, where we never have to say goodbye.
It's good that we have the A2. There is really not a lot of wind. So 6 knots, 7 knots. The speed goes dramatically down once we get below 7 knots apparent. Avocados at sunset. And I guess to do a little repair on the lazy bag as well. Speedy stitcher. We had to get the A2 down as the repair we made was getting loose again. Tomorrow the wind's gonna be gone completely, so just for one day we didn't try to repair it ourselves, and we'll bring it to Martinique, where Incidence is going to have a look at our mainsail again anyway. That's the end of the wind. 4 knots. The wind's going all the way back to 2. Hold in the Jenniker, put the mainsail in the middle and then one engine on. The water's really getting glassy in the meantime. And it's gonna get worse than this, I guess. You can even see Tobago. Our lure is a small squid, as I wasn't brave enough to put the big squids on. We've never used them. Look at this.
It actually didn't happen a lot that we had to motor over the ocean. I think it's the second time. The first time was in between the low pressure areas in the Indian Ocean, and now it's here, which is a very rare event. The wind is completely gone, and normally there's a stable trade wind here. It's not good news for the monohulls behind us. It's going to stay like this for a couple of days. we're taking the opportunity to clean the boat. The water maker is running. We have so much energy left. So when we arrive in Union Island, Greatcircle is completely clean again. And where's Joost? Where did we leave Joost?
Yes. Put it down. Okay.
He was able to get there.
Joost was in de kleinste gaatjes.
It was close.
This is actually a very rare moment. I think it's the second time in the world trip that we see the ocean like this. In this area we are sailing or motoring without the transponder on because there were, like 8 years ago, some pirating here, so we are always extra careful.
Passing Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago. You can see pretty far. You see the island very clearly, but on the other hand there's a fishing boat halfway. And we can't even see that one. Almost there. 26 miles to go to Union Island. Palm Island. We're on our way to Union Island, where we will check in.
It is so good to be back in the Caribbean. We really love the Grenadines.
Get